So I wanted to bring up a couple of other things to think about with this, because again, the almost universal social media reaction to this was like, yes, this is great. And I think it very much is, as Marty's pointed out, for players, and that's what's most important to us. That's who we're here to advocate for. But I always try to look at it from all the other sides. And I think this also is a great way to goose first-party game sales. And I use sales in quotes now because you're not necessarily purchasing the game. And plus, Microsoft with NPD doesn't like to report sales anyway. They like to report, what's their metrics? Is like the MAU on Xbox Live, or concurrent users or monthly active users or something. But this is a way for their game, because their games, Sony's first-party games are actually, the bulk of them are single-player, narrative-driven games. Spider-Man, Detroit, Shadow of the Colossus, God of War, Last Guardian last year, all that stuff. Horizon, thank you, yeah. Whereas the bulk of Microsoft's games are game-as-a-service oriented or heavily multiplayer focused, whether it's Sea of Thieves coming up, Halo, Gears, Forza, State of Decay, the 4-player co-op.
Battlegrounds now too.
Yes, PUBG, absolutely. So all these first-party games going into Game Pass on day one helps ensure a nice, healthy player count. So you're going to have a higher chance. I mean, Halo 5 had already gone into Game Pass, and that helped boost its player base. So it helps keep those games communities alive and thriving by including them in day one of this, which I think is very smart. But it also, Marty, you and I were talking about this. This is good for things like Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm honestly assuming. I honestly haven't messed with Game Pass enough to know what the UI is like. But if they do it right, then all of a sudden people who've never heard of Ori or maybe hadn't even heard of Cuphead are going to log into Game Pass and see suddenly front and center there's a Microsoft first-party game that if they only play Halo and Gears, maybe they're like, oh, this looks really cool, especially if you just start playing a trailer. Because if you're watching the footage of something like Cuphead and Ori, I don't know anyone who's going to watch that and not be like, oh, I can click this button to try it out. Well, let me do that.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. And I also think this is totally a way for thinking back, we always harken back to those summer of arcade / winter of arcade days.
Thank you.
Where you had these amazing indie games that became some of our favorite games of the last generation, and that's maybe another thing where if they are able to debut day and date on this thing, you're able to get a giant install base on a Jonathan Blow project or a Team Meat project.
I'm Ryan McCaffrey, the host of Unlocked. If you enjoyed that segment, be sure to check out the full episode and all of our episodes on the Unlocked YouTube page. Find it at youtube.com/IGNUnlocked. And if you're a podcast fan, we're also on just about every major podcast service as well.